Hi, this is Adam Azad Ahmed, and I am actually calling you, talking to you from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. This background is just a virtual background, but it's good to imagine that you're sitting on a beach. It's nice to imagine that life is much better than we see all every day on the news. It is March 28th, and we are having this, issue about coronavirus all over the world. Here in Canada, in every country, it's being affected. We are on lockdown, and things have changed. The world has changed. So we do need to, of course, follow the directives of our public health organization and WHO for social distancing, hygiene, etc. All those things are very important, definitely. Now, since you're sitting in your house and watching this probably with not much else to do, I would like to give some ideas about some critical things you should be thinking about. Actually, regardless of COVID, you should have thought about these before if you haven't before, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. So, as most of you are probably, affected by this, your business may have slowed down, your business may have stopped, your job may have laid you off, or you're concerned about your job, and you're concerned what would happen to you and your family if something serious happens to your health. Everyone is concerned about their health, of course. And the major reason is because it affects your finances also. And I would like to give you some ideas about how to plan for that. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you some important ideas to consider when you are planning for your financial future. So here you see on the screen are things you need to think about. Assets are items which have some value. What is the list of assets that you have? Liabilities. What are the debts that you have to pay or pay off? Your family should be aware of those. Your expenses. If you're paying the bills, some bills, not all the bills, your family doesn't know about them either, probably. So, what are your expenses? What is your income? Maybe you have income from different sources. List those down also. Charity. If you plan on giving some money to charity, how will you plan for that? Taxes. Taxes have to be done regularly and they have to be, planned accordingly also. And then your will. These things I'm going to be talking about in this discussion. Today, first thing we need to discuss about are assets and liabilities. So for assets, we mean any item with some value. Think of your physical assets. You probably have a home, some vehicles, jewelry, etc. So those are your physical assets. Those are things you can, touch, feel, see. Those are physical assets. Then the second category are your investments and your savings, such as bank accounts, your RRSP, which are retirement savings plans, tax-free savings accounts. So basically all of your accounts which are in the banks. Then your insurance is also an asset. If you have critical illness insurance, life insurance, disability insurance. So these are your assets. And I'll come in more detail about those. And the second thing is your liabilities. That is the money that you have to pay. So the money you owe. There could be secured loans, those loans which are against your property, for example, mortgages, secure line of credit, which is against your home, or an auto loan, which is secured against your car. Unsecured loans are just loans that you have, for example, credit cards, line of credit. And other liabilities could be you missed some bills, you've been in financial trouble, and you did not pay some bills. And taxes also, if you need to pay some taxes previously from last year to the government. So any basically liability is anything that you have to pay. So I'm going to show you actually how to calculate all that. And this is very critical in this situation, especially, right? Because, you know, you need to have this one page available. This is called a net worth calculator. The net worth calculator basically lists all of your assets and all of your liabilities. Okay, so let's suppose two people, Adam and Alice, they are, living together. They have, they're a family, and let's suppose they have their home. The home is worth $600,000, but we're dividing it equally between them two. They're equal owners of it. And let's suppose they have a rental property, which is worth 400,000. Vehicles, they have two cars. Adam's car is worth 50,000, Alice's 6,900. Jewelry. So you get the idea. Furniture, maybe let's suppose $2,000 of furniture, some electronics, maybe $3,000 of electronics, other stuff. So these are physical assets, right? Which are worth some money. Then we go to the cash bank accounts. Now, the other thing I also wanted to mention is if you have physical assets like jewelry, you should tell which bank it is at. Suppose RBC, locker number, whatever it is, locker number 2334 at which branch, right? So if your family needs to get that, they should know where it is. And where's the key also, right? You want to put that also here. Where is the key? The key is at locker, at your drawer. I would put that into one drawer. All these items should be in one drawer or one, file, one box with all this stuff in it, like the key for the locker and other stuff which they need access. The cash accounts, these are, of course, bank accounts. You have, of course, checking accounts, savings accounts. Write down the account numbers and which bank they are at. Also, it would be a good idea to get statements of each of these. Print out one statement of each of those, get them and put them in your folder. The statements should be there so your family knows this is the current situation. Print one out, put them in the file also, the latest situation of those statements. PayPal account, don't forget your PayPal. You want to, what is the password for the, if somebody, you have maybe some money there also in PayPal or other, places. So those are, of course, your bank accounts and your statements online, which are, should be, you should know what they are, and your passwords for them, especially online. That is critical, and your statements also. So here you need statements and you need also passwords for online access, right? So that your family can access them if anything happens to you. Life insurance, of course, you may have critical illness insurance, you may have life insurance, disability. These, of course, disability will only pay if you are unable to do your work due to illness. So if you have any, you need to look at your policy and make sure if you are covered or not due to illness. If you get sick, then it will pay. If you're okay and you're sitting at home, then you have to look at government benefits or other stuff. For life insurance, you need to see if something happens to you or your spouse, that is an asset, how much do you have in your policies? And then critical illness, usually if you have critical illness, most policies, they pay in case of coma. If you go into a coma for 4 days, suppose, and then after 30 days you survive, you can claim critical illness, benefit if you survive, not if you die. If you die, then life insurance pays. Critical illness is only for recovery from an illness. So you need to have an idea about life insurance. Again, I would put here policies, number for the policy, what bank it is at, or what insurance company it is at. And also I would put even again a statement of and the policy. So you basically should have the statement and policies in that one drawer, which has all that other stuff. Also, you're putting your statements for the accounts there, and also your policies and your life insurance, which has the telephone numbers for those life insurance companies, so your family knows where to get them. Same thing for investments. You may have pension plans. You may have RESP, education savings plan for the children. You may have RSP, retirement savings plans, spousal plans. Any money that you have put away, registered investments, you should have again put statements of those in your file also. So all these should be there, and what is the value. And so if you need to get some money from somebody, you loan some money, maybe it's only you know about it, nobody else knows about it. So should mention that there also. If there's any inheritance money that somebody got, that also, if it's separate in another account. So always I would put again statements, one printout of each in your file available. This way, this is a just example. This will automatically total up the value of the assets for one spouse and the other spouse also. And you have a total, let's suppose their asset value is 2.1 million. That's great. Seems like they're in a really good position, and that's great. But we need to look at the liabilities also. The liabilities are the loans. So they have mortgage loan on their home. Let's suppose 360,000, and then on their rental property also. So these are money they have to pay. Suppose they have a secure line of credit also. They have a car loan. So this car loan also, you have to keep in mind, you cannot sell a property until you pay off the loans. So obviously the family needs to have money to pay off these loans. Otherwise, so by law, if a person dies here in Canada at least, you have to pay off the loans of that person before you take any money from the estate. Okay, that is a requirement. So you need to know what are these loans. Again, I would put statements for each of these, statement of the, uh, mortgages, any other outstanding debts. So of course, credit cards, and also line of credits, any loans you took from the government. For example, you might have taken a lifelong learning plan, or you might have taken any other loans from the bank, from the, any other company, visas, credit cards, line of credits. So it's a good idea to put how much you've used. This is your liability. What is the limit for each of them? So you have an idea that you have so much limit on your cards, and how much is available in case something happens to you. You have this available here, how much is available in your secure line of credit, right? So those are, just good to know that you have that available. Sometimes you may not want to liquidate your assets if something happens. And then the balance, how much you've used, would be the difference between the limit and the available. So that difference there would give you, the difference between these two will give you how much you've used. The balance you've used here is $56,000, right? So in this case, you need to be sure that you're, fully aware of the situation here, right? If you're not aware of that situation, then in that case, you would be, yeah. So the other thing you need to also consider is that this is your assets. You have $2 million, that is 1 million, 1 million each. But you've got loans of $837,000. If you add these all up, this total here is giving you a loan amount of $837,000. So it's not a simple, so the net worth simply definition is, yes, assets minus liabilities. You take all the assets, you minus the liabilities. This family has 1.3 million net worth, which is pretty good. They've saved up some money. They have that available. But if you become sick, if you pass away, unfortunately, something happens to you, all that money is not available to you. Those assets that we just mentioned, are you going to sell your home? You're not going to sell your home. Your family is still going to stay in your home. Are you going to sell the rental property? If you have a good tenants in there, they're giving monthly payments and it's being paid down, you may not want to sell those, right? You may sell one of the cars, maybe not both the cars. You're not going to sell all the jewelry, right? Maybe some money in the bank accounts they'll have available, some money from the insurance they'll have available. So you need to calculate what are the liquid assets, the money available for the family, cash available for the family if anything happens. Let's suppose out of this 2 million, I'm just going to make a rough idea. Let's suppose $1 million is available for the family as liquid assets. They plan on selling the rental property if anything goes bad, and then so they have that available. Now with that money available, if they have that all encashed, they encash everything, they still have to pay off the liabilities. The liabilities are owed by that person, and those, it would be good for all those liabilities to be paid off. Let's suppose they pay off all the liabilities, all the mortgage loans and the credit cards, everything, and they legally have to do that also. So now the family is left with liquid assets minus liabilities, cash. The family is left with $162,000 cash only. And then there's taxes due. When a person dies, the government is going to calculate taxes. I'm not a tax expert, but you can ask your accountant. All the registered funds, that is RSPs and other registered accounts, not the TFSA, but other accounts, will be taxed. Capital gains are taxed. That is, if you have a rental property, you bought it for 50,000, now it's worth 500,000, there will be taxes due on the 450,000. And then the income of the year that the person passed away, other things. So there's a calculation for the taxes. I'm not going to go into that detail, but let's just suppose it's $98,000 in taxes you have to pay for that person. So the family is now left with $64,000 cash. It's good, yes, you paid off the liabilities, but now the family has some assets left over which are illiquid, which they did not want to sell, and they have cash available, 64,000. And so now they can plan accordingly what they're going to do next. So this is why it's important. If you have given all this to your family members, they know about all these things, then it makes life easier. If you do not have this net worth calculator available, then it's going to be a big issue. They will have a lot of trouble finding out where are your bank accounts, what are your liabilities, how much taxes are due. They're going to have to run around a lot, and it's going to be a big headache for them. So if you want to keep your finances in, this is, unfortunate situation of the COVID, which is a critical risk for everybody all over the world. But generally, this is something you should do, even if you're healthy, even if there's no issue, you don't know about tomorrow. It's good to make a net worth calculator. In my next discussion, I will be talking about the income and the expenses, and I will be talking about some other financial planning aspects. If you need this template, please email me or text me. I will send it to you. I will send out a blank one for you and some other information also. Have an excellent day, and bye for now.